Hello and welcome back to another Football Commentaries live stream for this Saturday evening kickoff in the Premier League in game week 27. We see Luton Town host Aston Villa. The home side Luton under manager Rob Edwards are currently sat in the bottom three, 4 points away from Forest, who take up 17th position, but Luton do have 2 games in hand. Luton have shown that they can play in this league and play against the big boys, but their home record has slightly let them down, but it can be quite deceiving. They have lost 8 of their 13 at home, but 7 of the 8 defeats have seen Luton been defeated by just the 1 goal. For Aston Villa under Unai Emery, they still remain in the top 4 and could keep the gap to 5 after Spurs won their home game to Palace in one of the 3 o'clock kickoffs. They are currently on a run of 2 away wins on the bounce against Fulham and Sheffield United, with their last victory coming at home at Villa Park last week after their 4-2 win to Nottingham Forest. Their first ever Premier League meeting came back in late October of last year, and it was a 3-1 win for Villa after goals from McGinn and Diaby in the first half, and then 2 own goals from Lockyer and Martinez in the second. So, in the 41st meeting between these two, will it be Luton to win their first league game against Aston Villa since April 1992, or will Villa win their first league game at Luton since October 1989? This fixture has not had too much recent history. The fact that Luton have been in the lower divisions in the last 10 seasons and Aston Villa have usually been in the Championship or the Premier League, but they have met before quite a lot of times, 40 times. Previously, Luton winning 19. We've had 5 draws. The last draw was 11 games ago when it was a 1-1 draw back in December 1988. And then Villa have won 16 of the 40 previous games, and their last away win here was in 1989. But when these two sides met in the season, it was 3-1 to Aston Villa. And we know how good Aston Villa have been at home, but their away form hasn't been as good, but as of late they have started to pick it up. Like I've just mentioned, 2 wins in a row away against Fulham and Sheffield United. They've had 3 draws and the 4 losses coming against Manchester United, Forest, Liverpool and Newcastle. So when you look at their games that they've lost, it is respectable teams to lose against. We know how difficult it can be to go to Old Trafford when Manchester United crowd are up for the game and they're on it. Nottingham Forest, they've got a good home record usually in the Premier League since they were promoted last season. And then Liverpool, Anfield and Newcastle at St James's Park are difficult places to go. That Newcastle defeat was their first game of the season when they were beaten 5-1, which was a little bit of a worry for Aston Villa. Maybe they could have curtailed the way their season was going to go, but since then obviously they've picked it up massively in the top 4 at the moment, 2 points ahead of Spurs, who are 5th. They won their game at home against Crystal Palace at the 3 o'clock kickoff. They were 1-0 down for a long time, but they scored 3 late-ish goals in that game. So Spurs are back up to 50 points in 5th place, 6 ahead of Manchester United, who are in 6th. But for Aston Villa, I do not think they'll be even looking at the likes of Arsenal, Manchester City and Liverpool now. They're almost in a title race of their own. Aston Villa's focus will be on Tottenham and stopping them from getting that 4th place in the league and securing definitely that Champions League football for next season. But it's a big couple of weeks coming up for Aston Villa. Of course, they've got this game tonight, but then the next game in the week, they've got Ajax away from home in their Europa Conference League last 16 first leg. Then they've got Spurs next weekend, which we'll be commentating on the channel as well, so make sure you're here for that. And then the game after that is again Ajax in their second leg at Villa Park. So it's a huge couple of weeks for Aston Villa. They've got big focuses on the Premier League in terms of getting that 4th spot, and they are playing their nearest rival for that spot, Tottenham, next week. And then sandwiched either side of Tottenham at home next week is the 2 legs against Ajax in the Europa Conference League, which they'll definitely be looking to go far in that competition. I think it's one that Villa will look at themselves as one of the strongest teams in that competition. So they'll definitely have a lot of focus on that. But then at the same time, they'll probably focus more on the fact that they want to finish in the Champions League for next season, as winning the Conference League would only give them Europa League football as a guarantee, and they would already get that in 5th position, because I know the Champions League might be changing their way of the group stage way. Obviously, we're used to having however many separate groups, but they want to try and bring in that big league table, and that could open the possibilities for the Premier League having 5 spots for Champions League, but with the way that Manchester United and Newcastle performing in the Champions League, that's dropped England's coefficient points, it's called. So basically, every team from a country in European competition, however they do, they will collect an amount of points for how they do, and it all adds together, and then it ranks them. So I think it's like Spain are number 1, Germany number 2, and then England are number 3. So I think it's if you're first, you get that extra Champions League spot. Could be wrong, but I think that's the gist of it. So it's not a guarantee that 5th place this season will get Champions League football with the new big league table system. So I think just to definitely secure it and make sure you are in Champions League, 4th spot is the place to be. As we are just under 5 minutes away from kick-off, I've somehow, and I don't know how, I haven't commentated on a Luton game this season, which I'm quite disappointed about. I'm surprised I've not been able to squeeze them in at all in their first season back in the Premier League. We did commentate on their playoff final victory to Coventry last year, but this is the first time I've ever commentated on them in the Premier League, so it is very exciting stuff, as they are currently 18th place, 20 points at the moment. They haven't won in the last 5 games. Their last win came against Brighton on the 30th of January. It was a battering of Brighton in the end at home, and Brighton have been beaten once again as well today in their 3 o'clock kick-off away to Fulham. But Luton are 4 points off Forest, who are on 24 points. They're on the position above the relegation zone. Nottingham Forest are currently on 17th, and it's not come yet. But Nottingham Forest are looking at a possible point reduction, and Rob Edwards, the Luton manager, has said plenty of times his league table is based off points with no deduction. That's how he looks at the table. It's if there was no deductions, how would his team place in the league? So even if Nottingham Forest was to get a deduction and it puts them in the bottom 3 and it puts Luton out of it, Rob Edwards would still look at it as Nottingham Forest with no point deduction, so they take no risks of having to rely on the point deduction. They want Luton to be safe as they are with no point deductions for anyone. So in terms of the way that the Luton squad will be looking at it, they won't pay too much attention, but obviously as fans and neutrals and everything like that, if Nottingham Forest do get that point deduction, that'll be huge, and it depends how many points they get deducted as well, because it would more than likely put them in the bottom 3. But if Luton win their 2 games in hand, including one of them tonight, then they could lift themselves out of the relegation zone without any point deductions for anyone. So that would be really impressive for Luton Town. Sorry about that. But we are going to go through both teams' lineups now as they are entering the field at Kenilworth Road. We'll start with the home side, and that is Luton Town, and it is Thomas Kaminski in goal, signed for £2.5 million in the summer from Championship side Blackburn Rovers. He's already conceded 51 goals so far this season. 3 at the back of Reece Burke, Tendon Mengi and Amari Bell, with Gabriel Osho currently out with an injury. Right wing back of Issa Kabor, who comes back in after missing the FA Cup game against Manchester City due to being cup tied, as he is on loan from the current Premier League champions. At left wing back is going to be Alfie Doughty, who's had an unbelievable season so far in the Premier League, known for his crossing, and he's picked up 5 assists so far this season, but no assists in his last 5. And 2 central midfielders of Jordan Clark, who scored twice in the FA Cup game in the week against Manchester City, his first goals since the playoff final against Coventry, and he'll play alongside Ross Barkley, who spent a season-long loan at Aston Villa in the 2020-21 season. He scored 3 in 24 appearances. And a front 3 on the right is going to be Andros Townsend, who came in on a free from Everton in the summer. He's got the 1 goal so far this season, and that came against Newcastle on the 23rd of December. On the left is going to be Taif Chong, who was signed for £4 million from Birmingham. He's got the 1 goal himself already. Just the 9th start in the Premier League, but it's 3 in a row for the former Manchester United winger. And leading the line up front is going to be Carlton Morris, who is currently Luton's captain, as Tom Lockyer is obviously out at the moment. And Carlton Morris has got 7 Premier League goals this season, 4 in his last 6. And for Aston Villa, it is Emi Martinez in goal, who played in his 150th Premier League game last time out against Nottingham Forest. He's still looking for his 50th clean sheet in the Premier League. Back four of Matty Cash. At left back is Alex Moreno, who's making his 8th Premier League start in a row. And two centre halves is going to be Clement Lenglet on loan from Barcelona, and Ezri Konsa, who returns after missing the last 4 games out with a knee injury. 4 across the midfield. On the right is going to be Leon Bailey, who's making his 90th Aston Villa appearance. On the left is Jacob Ramsey, and 2 central midfielders of John McGinn, who's played in every game so far this season for Aston Villa in all competitions, and he'll play alongside Douglas Luiz, who had not scored in his previous 13 before his current run of 3 goals in his last 3 games. In behind the striker is going to be Yuri Tielemans, brought in on a free from Leicester in the summer. He came on as a late sub in the last game against Luton at Villa Park, and leading the line up front is going to be Ollie Watkins, who's having the season of his life. 26 Premier League appearances for him. He's featured in every league game so far this season. 14 goals, with 5 coming in his last 5, including a hat-trick back in late September, and if he scores tonight, it will be his 20th goal in all competitions. And for Villa, it means just one change from their starting 11 last week against Nottingham Forest. It's Pau Torres, who drops to the bench, and Ezri Konsa returns to the starting 11. And for Luton, they make 4 changes from their last league game, which was against Aston Villa. I'm pretty sure it was against Aston Villa, wasn't it? Am I going crazy? Yeah, it was against Aston Villa, wasn't it? I'm sure of it. Against Liverpool, yes it was. I thought I was going crazy then, because Luton, I think, were meant to play Liverpool at the weekend, but obviously played them instead in the week, because Liverpool were in the League Cup final. So yeah, their last game for Luton was the 4-1 defeat at Anfield, but they did take the lead in that one. Took the lead just before in the first half in the 12th minute, but then conceded 4 in the second half to lose the game. But I don't think Luton will really necessarily believe that their season will be defined by a performance away at Anfield. Empire Meg, hello, what is your prediction? Luton don't usually lose heavily at home. The only time they've lost by more than 1 goal at home, Luton, was against Sheffield United when they lost 3-1 a couple of weeks ago, which is ridiculous. The fact they've played all the big teams, but they've only lost by 1. But when they play Sheffield United, bottom of the league, they then lose by more than 1 goal. But I'm going to edge for a 2-1 at Aston Villa. But I wouldn't be surprised with a Luton result, a positive Luton result. As we're going to get underway here, it'll be Luton to kick off, kicking left to right. Villa right to left here at Kenilworth Road. As it's the ball played back to Barkley in the centre circle. Already trying to get the ball forward, but the pass forward has been cut off by Tielemans, but he'll eventually try and switch out to the left. It's a heavy ball forward by Ross Barkley, straight out of play for an Aston Villa goal kick. And we are away here at Kenilworth Road, which opened in 1905. It had to go under £10 million worth of work when they were promoted to get the right facilities needed for a Premier League ground. And you get people always saying how iconic the stadium is, but it just is iconic for a Premier League ground. And I don't think these are the grounds that aren't usually around anymore. And it'll be interesting if Luton do decide to move away from Kenilworth Road or try and expand, because I know there's talks of them moving away. I've heard a lot of 2-1. But yeah, I just think it's I think it's just the fairest result, because I think Luton will be in the game, because we know they can at home. They don't lose heavily. And Aston Villa are just starting to pick up their away form as well. Like I say, 2 wins in a row at the moment away from Villa Park, as McGinn receives the ball on the edge of the box, turns away from Clark. Really good play from John McGinn, midway side his own half, goes to the far side here to right back Cash. Forward to Bailey, drives inside onto his left foot, goes back to Cash, fires it forward here for the run of Watkins, who will get the ball ahead of Mengi. Ollie Watkins into the final third, into the box on the right hand side, lays it off into the run of Bailey, who crosses it towards Jacob Ramsey, touches it across goal, and wide it goes. And that's the first half chance of the game falling to Aston Villa. Really well worked down the right flank there, Cash finding the ball into the space for Watkins, who just drove into the area, and then the overlap of Bailey allowed him to release the ball, and then the Bailey cross was just lifted at a bit of an awkward height for Jacob Ramsey. He was about 6 yards out. It was just the most awkward height. He couldn't really get down to head it, couldn't really lift his boot up to volley it. It was right on the chest, so just almost just chested it wide there, Jacob Ramsey. But positive start for Aston Villa, as they're again on the ball, just over 2 minutes in. Need to get that timer going, do apologise. as it's long lay forward to the halfway line to Watkins, who picks it up in a load of space here and can fire it out wide right again towards Leon Bailey, but it's cut out there by Alfie Doughty. And it'll be Luton Town back on the ball. But that was scary how much space Watkins had there in the centre of the park there for Aston Villa. Need to be careful there, Luton Town, as they're on the halfway line with the ball with Ross Barkley, who has been one of the star players in the Premier League this season after signing on a free from a season at Nice, where he didn't play too badly. 21 League One appearances for Ross Barkley, scored 4 times, 2 at home and 2 away. But all Aston Villa plays behind the ball as central centre-back Ted Mengi, who's on the ball, who was brought in from Manchester United in the summer. He's got the 1 Premier League goal so far, which came in a 2-1 win against Crystal Palace in late November. As Barkley fires it out wide to the left. Chong controls straight to Cash, who can take the ball away from him. Then Watkins lays it off to Louise, then in behind for Ramsey, who's got away from Kabore. But then it's Mengi to recover and takes the ball away from him in the 18-yard box and clears for a corner. Just all very easy at the moment for Aston Villa to find spaces and get in behind this Luton team. Good layoff by Watkins to find Louise, who just already knew the next pass, playing it in behind for Ramsey, but it was good recovery defending there from Tendon Mengi. He used his quick pace to get back and clear the ball away for a set piece here for Aston Villa. And we know how good Douglas Luiz can be at these corners and free kicks, which requires crossings of the ball. As we've got a Luton player down here, and I believe it's Amari Bell, who was on the bench in the week against Manchester City and had to come off for the injured Gabriel Osho, who's out of the matchday squad tonight for Luton. So this isn't a very good sign for Rob Edwards, as he doesn't want to be losing Amari Bell here, who's making his 13th start. He's making his 14th start in a row in the Premier League, Amari Bell. Not quite sure how it occurred, and he's back to his feet, hobbling. And it does look like Luton are going to be forced into an early change here. Not what they want to see the Jamaican Amari Bell coming off. He's a Jamaican international usually. His last appearance for Jamaica came back in September 2023. But just frustrating as he was making his 14th start in a row. Shows his importance in the team, Amari Bell. But maybe it's just a little bit too soon for him to have returned. Like I say, came off the bench against Manchester City. And he's being walked away here with international teammate Leon Bailey just following next to him, as Leon Bailey's just the short option here at the moment for the corner kick. So it's going to be Chidozie Ogbene on, who's usually a right wing back. So let's see how Luton decide to set up here, as Aston Villa do go short with Tielemans. Back out to Louise, who's made the angle for the cross towards the far post. It's a floating ball in, which is headed away by Carlton Morris. Picked up by Ogbene here. Tackled too easily by Cash, who's in the final third. Towards the corner flag here, Matty Cash turns away from goal and plays the ball back here towards halfway to Ezri Konsa, as Aston Villa keep possession. Back out to the right-hand side here to Matty Cash, who's midway inside the Luton half. And then back into the Aston Villa half here with Ezri Konsa. Ramsey should have used his chest. It should be 1-0. Yeah, possibly, but I just think he was caught in two minds of if to use his head or foot. But then by the time he probably realised the chest was the best option, it was a little too late, as Watkins crosses, deflects off Burke, back off Watkins' arm, and it's gone against him, as tonight's referee is Michael Oliver. It's his first time refereeing against Luton, refereeing in a game between Luton this season. But unfortunately there from Watkins, just got away on the left-hand side, crossed it inside the box, and it deflected off Burke, then back off the arm of Watkins. Do apologise for that noise. It should disappear. Yeah, back off the Watkins arm, and then a free kick for Luton, which has been sent forward by Kaminski into the Aston Villa half. It's been flicked on by Morris, in for Townsend, who's still onside, lays it off for Chong, who strikes, and that flag eventually goes up. The Chong strike was blocked and deflected over the crossbar, but it does seem like as Carlton Morris touched that ball on for Luton, Andros Townsend was in an offside position. Let's have a look. Luton going along with Kaminski. Touched on by Morris, and it would have been close. It looks like Moreno possibly could have been playing on Andros Townsend. The play carried on. Townsend played it into the path of Chong, who struck on the edge of the box, and it deflected and looped over the crossbar. and it was given as an offside anyway, but VAR would have had an important check there to make if the ball had hit the back of the net. His Cash goes up forward to Watkins, who's holding the ball up here, pulled back by Mengi. Nothing given for Watkins. I'm surprised, because it did look like Mengi was just pulling the shoulders of Watkins, but the referee's given nothing. He was right on the case as well. Luton go along towards Morris, headed away by McGinn to Conser, who's been forced back to Martinez in the 18-yard box here for Aston Villa. Plays it to the left centre-half of Longley, been closed down by Townsend, plays it down the line towards Ramsey, kicks it away from Luton players towards Louise, but it's picked up loosely by Townsend. And now Luton try and go back here with Mengi, pulled down there by Watkins, and the foul goes against him this time. Watkins was looking for the free kick the first time, but then he's just given the one away himself the second time. Just shows the lack of consistency with referees in the Premier League and just football in general in the English top 4 leagues. As it is Luton on the ball on the far side, just inside the Villa half. They go back into their own half to keep the ball here through Alfie Doughty, and it does look like possibly we could be having a Luton back three with Alfie Doughty as the left centre half and Ogbene as the left wing back. Does seem like Rob Edwards wants to keep the three at the back system, so it's going to have to almost just sacrifice the crossing of Alfie Doughty as a left centre half to make it work with Ogbene. Because on the bench, Luton don't necessarily have an out-and-out centre-back to bring on, as Louise picks it up inside his own half here for Aston Villa. Bailey going across to the left here to Longley. It's now with Moreno at left-back, midway side his own half. Falls back to Longley on the edge of the box here. And then to Martinez, being closed down by Townsend. Plays it to his right here to number 4, Ezri Konsa. Plays it short to Cash. Back to Konsa, being closed down here by Carlton Morris. Goes down over a challenge, and Morris has been penalised. Looks like he may have got away with that, the number 9, but the referee has given the free kick there for Ezri Konsa. Looks like he went down a little bit too easily there. But the referee has given 2 fouls for Aston Villa for just little pushes on the back from Luton players. One for Aston Villa and 1 for Luton. Free kick is just inside the 18-yard box here for Aston Villa on the right-hand side. It looks like it'll be Ezri Konsa to take it. And he'll leave it in the end. And Emi Martinez will take it. And it looks like Aston Villa are going to decide to go long here. So Martinez goes long. Flicked on by Tielemans, and Watkins almost got attracted to the same ball there. So as Tielemans headed on, Watkins was literally right behind him, so there was no one making the run to try and chase that flick on from Tielemans. And Luton try and play, but it's given away on the halfway line by Townsend to Ramsey. Coming across the pitch towards the right-hand side and releasing it to the halfway line to Matty Cash. And all Luton plays behind the ball as it's Ezri Konsa in possession. Plays it forward to the centre circle to Louise. Squares it to his right to McGinn. Turns away from Clark. McGinn still on the ball. Aston Villa's captain. Goes to left centre-half Longley. To left-back Moreno. 1-on-1 with Kabore. Moreno being forced to go backwards here. Good pressing from Kabore. And we're back in the Aston Villa 18-yard box here. As Longley finds Martinez. Across it goes to Konsa. He'll bring it away from the 18-yard box and find Cash at right back. Goes to the edge of the area here to McGinn. It's now with Longley. Towards this near side. Down the line towards Ramsey. Gets the touch ahead of Burke. Ramsey away from Kabore, but then tackled by Burke, but then he regains the ball here, Ramsey. And does he catch Barkley in the face? He does, and the free kick's gone against Jacob Ramsey. Did well there, Aston Villa's number 41, to get away from Burke and Kabore, but as Ramsey was just trying to use his arm as a way of protecting the ball, he has just got the fingers in the face of Barkley. That's a free kick for me. You can't gouge your fingers in someone's face like that, even if it's accidental. Need to keep the arm down a little bit there, Ramsey. And it's Luton back on the ball, and they've not changed shape, despite the early change with a Mari Bell being replaced by Chedoze, Ogbene. It's Alfie Doughty in a right wing back, left centre back position, and Ogbene's at left wing back as Barkley misplaces a pass there. He's done that a couple of times already, Ross Barkley. But Luton can push up the field towards the final third here as Aston Villa do have a throw-in on this near side. It'll be taken by number 15, Alex Moreno. the first signing under Unai Emery back last January in 2023. It's his first ever club he's played for outside of Spain. As he's given the ball here to Douglas Luiz in the 18-yard box. Across it goes towards Conte, goes behind him, but it will be collected towards the corner flag by Cash. Ball forward towards Bailey, flicks it inside for Tielemans. It can be picked up firstly, though, by Mengi, who clears it forward, and it deflects out of play for a throw-in for Aston Villa, right next to the corner flag. Could have been a really dangerous counter-attack there for Aston Villa, as that touch inside by Bailey was almost well executed towards Tielemans, but touch was heavy and it could be cleared away by Mengi, and they've boxed in Aston Villa here next to the corner flag as he throws it long as far as he can towards Watkins, headed forward by Ogbene, chested down by Douglas Luiz, then back to Cash, who will find Emi Martinez. It's a bouncing ball, but he can get it under control and plays it to his left here to Longley, being closed down by Townsend, just about moves it on to Moreno, who can get away from Kabore. And Moreno will drive down the line, but he's tackled fairly with a slide challenge from Barkley. On the edge of the box, plays it to his right here. Andros Townsend will lift the ball in towards the far post. It's an easy catch for Martinez, who drops to the ground and quickly gets himself back up to roll it to the right-hand side to Tielemans. It's now with Leon Bailey, surrounded by Chong and Ogbene, but can find Tielemans on the return. And it's now midway side the Aston Villa half here with Douglas Luiz, who's allowed to bring the ball forward here. He's on the halfway line. Still with Douglas Luiz, playing it forward to McGinn. In central area here for Villa. McGinn looking to play it through into the box of Ramsey, who can get onto the ball, and he strikes it towards the far corner. Well saved by Kaminski. It's a save you'd expect the Belgian to make, but still required a acrobatic dive to keep the ball out. Just too easy again for Aston Villa. Luiz playing it into the central area for McGinn, who's just allowed to stride forward with it and play a pass which cut the Luton defence open for Ramsey, and it was a good weight so Jacob Ramsey could latch onto the ball first time and strike, but wasn't far enough in the corner to beat Thomas Kaminski. As the man who just had the shot towards goal, Jacob Ramsey, is currently down, an issue with his left foot. Hopefully it's nothing too serious, because Jacob Ramsey is someone that you enjoy to watch on a football pitch. He's usually very dangerous on the ball, as he's making his fourth start in a row for Aston Villa. Struggled with a foot injury from October to November, and also came into the season with a slight injury, a muscle injury picked up in the summer away at international duty for the under-21s in the Euros, which England ended up winning. But he's receiving some treatment here, Jacob Ramsey. We've already had an early change for Luton with Amari Bell, which seemed like a bit of a muscle problem for Luton's number 29. But hopefully for Aston Villa's number 41, he'll be okay to continue. He was in fact injured for the reverse game between these two, Jacob Ramsey, who already at the age of 22 has played over 100 Premier League games for Aston Villa, scoring 13 goals. Just the one goal so far this season, which came in the battering of Brighton at home, 6-1 in late September. He is back to his feet, and it looks like he's walking off okay with the medical team of Aston Villa. As we are over 15 minutes in here at Kenilworth Road. It is Aston Villa with a corner on the far side with Yuri Tielemans stood over it. The ball goes in, it's an outswinger, it's a header free for Luiz and just wide of the far post. A free header for Douglas Luiz is almost criminal there from Luton. He's all on his own on the edge of the box. He just runs in free and wins a free header. That is awful marking. Serious, that is poor. Luiz was just stood just on the fringes of the 18-yard box. And he just jogged into the area and he picked up a free space in the box to win the header. And he probably should have done better, at least got it on target. Is Luton trying to get forward here with Ogbene. One-on-one with Leon Bailey. Takes on Leon Bailey and crosses low to the near post. Cleared away by Conser. Picked up by Leon Bailey in a right-back position here. Goes inside to the box to McGinn. He's got time to find a pass. Goes backwards to Conser. Across to Martinez. Who goes out to the left to Longley. Still in the 18-yard box. Finds Moreno at left-back. Hurries the ball away down the line. Controlled well by Watkins. He's got Mengi on his back who can kick the ball away for a throw-in for Aston Villa. A very risky play there from the away side. Playing out from the back no matter what there. As for Unai Emery, this is game number 66 in charge of Aston Villa won 38 of the previous 65. He's won 31 of 51 games in charge of Aston Villa in the Premier League. As Chong picks it up in the centre circle ahead of Watkins, kicks it back towards his own goalkeeper, who's just taken up a position outside of his 18-yard box, and he plays it into Mengi, who spent 14 years at Manchester United, Ted and Mengi, before leaving in the summer. Struggled really badly with a hamstring injury last season, Ted and Mengi. He was out from August to October, then January to April. Couldn't really get a run of games in the under-21s for Manchester United. But Luton obviously like what they have seen of him previously. Ted Mengi. And he's now pretty much a starter for Luton more often than not. As he plays a ball over the top here, down the left-hand side looking for Ogbene. But it's a calm header back to Emi Martinez by Cash in the 18-yard box. Good play there from Matty Cash, who's 2 goals this season in the league. Both came away from home in their win at Burnley in game week 3 of the Premier League. As Luton have already won the ball back here. Kabore on the near side, looking for Townsend. Ball deflects to Clark, who can't quite keep it away from Ramsey, who's back on the field for Aston Villa. Plays it to McGinn, who turns forward and plays the ball forward to Tielemans, who is rushed into making a pass as he's being closed down there by Alfie Doughty. And the ball runs through to the Luton Town goalkeeper. A little bit frustrating that we're going to have to see Alfie Doughty in a left centre-back position as Ogbene, the substitute's gone out to play wing-back, because it's usually Doughty, a wing-back, who's been so dangerous for Luton this season. Just 24 years of age, Alfie Doughty, and he's only scored once at home for Luton since joining in July 2022 from Stoke, and that came in this season's League Cup game through Gillingham. Still Luton on the ball, just inside their own half here. And Doughty sends a ball high down the left-hand side. It's a header away by Cash, kept in by Bailey, with a pass back to Cash, into the centre of midfield here to McGinn, across to the edge of the box to Longley. Now with left-back Moreno, being closed down quickly by Kabore. Moreno forced back to Longley, just squeezes the ball to him ahead of Townsend. Longley to Moreno. Down the line it goes towards Watkins, who holds the ball up ahead of Mengi. He's been pulled down there by Luton's number 15, and that'll be a free kick for Aston Villa just inside their own half. But that is going to be a battle that we will see throughout the whole match. Bit of a one-on-one battle there, Mengi and Watkins. But Luton have been very unfortunate at home this season. I mentioned it at the start, but if you weren't here, I'll mention it again. They've lost 8 games so far this season, Luton at home. And 7 of them have been just by 1 goal. So they don't usually lose games by a large margin. They've only lost 1 game by more than 1 goal, and that was their 3-1 defeat against Sheffield United a couple of weeks ago. So they are usually in the games at home. If they win them or not, they are usually there or thereabouts. As Aston Villa go long up to the halfway line to Watkins, again battling with Mengi, and he gets the better of him. Watkins lays it off to Tielemans, to the left now to the Moreno, who's going to switch it out to the right towards Bailey, can't get it in behind of Ogbene, and it'll be dealt with here by the Irish wing-back, who is tripped on the edge of the box by Bailey, and it'll be a free kick for Luton on the edge of the area. There he is. Chidozie Ogbene represents Ireland at international level. Made his debut in June 2021. Was born in Nigeria, but moved to Ireland in 2005 at the age of 8. And he left Ireland to play in England in January 2018. Moved to Brentford, where he's played for the likes of Rotherham since, where he made his move from in the summer to join Luton on a free transfer. There's Alfie Doughty on the far side, bringing it forward from the back for Luton. Goes inside, cut out too easily by McGinn. Forward to Watkins, loads of room on the right-hand side, towards the byline, enters the box. This body's in there to aim for. He tries to get it to the far post towards Ramsey, but well caught at the near post there by Kaminski. And that's another half chance for Aston Villa, given to them on a plate by Luton. Giving it away in their own half there, Alfie Doughty. And it was good thinking from McGinn just to release that ball as quickly as possible. Down the right flank for Watkins, who couldn't quite get the pass right there. Does have 10 assists this season, Ollie Watkins, in the Premier League alongside his 14 goals. It's quite the season he's having in the league this season. Ollie Watkins, who will, of course, be expecting a spot on the plane at the European Championships in the summer as Kabore loses his footing on Moreno. And it's Aston Villa back on the ball, deep inside their own half here, in their 18-yard box with number 17 Longley. Finds McGinn in the more central area. Forward to Tielemans, who can get away from the challenge of Doughty. And Tielemans can bring the ball forward towards halfway. Tries to find a ball forward towards Watkins. His touch is poor. Straight to Barkley in the centre circle. His pass poor as well. Can't find Doughty. McGinn picks it up. Bailey through to Watkins in the box. Can he finish it? Watkins with the shot. Parried over the bar by Kaminski. Aston Villa are knocking on that door, but not quite able to bring it down yet. Barkley, he's given the ball away a few times already tonight. We know he's been highly praised this season, Ross Barkley, for his performances, but he's not been on it tonight. Another poor giveaway towards the halfway line, but it's the Aston Villa intensity to get that ball and get it forward quickly, looking for Watkins in the spaces. Found him there, but on the angle on the near post there, it's been saved by Kaminski, who's only kept 2 clean sheets this season, Luton and Kaminski, but they have both come at home to Newcastle and Brighton. But it does look like it's going to be difficult for them to keep another one tonight, because Aston Villa have shown signs of scoring goals already as the corner goes into the near post. Watkins with the header! And this time it's in. Just saying how it felt like it was going to be a matter of time until Aston Villa scored their goal tonight. And they've got the first one already, just over 23 minutes in. And of course, it has to be Ollie Watkins. It's his 3rd goal against Luton Town in his career. They both came in the Championship in the 1920 season. One of them in a 7-0 win when at Brentford. Hopefully for Luton it doesn't go that heavy, the scoring. But it's so easy. Delicious delivery to the near post by Leon Bailey. And it's a header 6 yards out. Won by Watkins. To that top right corner. It's brilliant. Kaminski left flat-footed. Watkins won his header on Jordan Clark. And it's brilliant. And those Aston Villa supporters celebrate at the opposite end of the stadium. And for Watkins, it's his 15th of the season in the Premier League and 20 in all competitions. What a campaign he's having. And Villa lead here at Kenilworth Road. It's Luton 0, Aston Villa 1. Yeah, just felt like it was brewing that moment. Just looked like Luton weren't going to be able to keep the clean sheet tonight. And they haven't again. It's going to be just the 2 clean sheets still for Luton this season in the Premier League. And they did concede 6 in the week. So we were talking about how Watkins has already scored in a 7-0 win against Luton in his career when he was at Brentford. You know, Luton did concede the 6 in the week. 5 of them to Erling Haaland and then just the 1 to Mateo Kovacic. I put £500, wow, on Liverpool and Tottenham. That's lucky with Liverpool, by the way. That was last minute. And Tottenham and Villa to win. Liverpool and Tottenham just grabbed the win. I'm hoping Villa just hold on. Well, at the moment, I can't quite see Luton outscoring Aston Villa because I can't see Aston Villa scoring just the 1 tonight. I think they'll score a few more. And it's just if Luton can match that, and I'm not sure about that. As it's in a left-back position here with Aston Villa. Louise back to Longley. Who's going to go long, just clipping up the field. It's a high ball towards Watkins, who will hold the ball up against Mengi and lay it off to Jacob Ramsey on the near side. Couple of 1-2s there between Ramsey and Watkins, and it's gone back to Longley. It seems like Ramsey's just still slightly struggling with that niggle that he picked up about 5 or 10 minutes ago. As that away end for Villa is bouncing at the moment as Longley goes long up to the halfway line to Watkins to get his touches on it. Keeps it away from Mengi, but then dispossessed by Clark. As it goes back here in the Luton half, and they'll rebuild from the back here, the home side. Couldn't quite be kept by Watkins, tackled by Clark, who scored a thunderous strike in that FA Cup game in the week against Manchester City. That first goal was an unbelievable hit from Jordan Clark, who scored his first goal since the playoff final against Coventry at Wembley. It's on the halfway line here with Ross Barkley. Forward to Townsend. All Aston Villa players currently behind the ball as they've worked it to Mengi. To the left centre half at the moment, and that's Alfie Doughty on the halfway line. Goes back to Mengi as he's been closed down there by Yuri Tielemans for Aston Villa. As Ross Barkley switch out towards the left hand side, bounces into the chest of Bailey, controls it well, finds McGinn. And then across to the left here to Moreno. Inside to Louise, 10 yards away from the halfway line. Goes to the right back of Cash. Around the corner. finding Bailey midway side the Luton half, 1-on-1 with Jordan Clark. Leon Bailey gets onto his left foot, good feet here from the Jamaican, and lays it off to Douglas Luiz, who drifts out to the right hand side and goes back inside to Ezri Konsa, who is going to lay it off to McGinn, who's going to look to the near side here, and he finds Alex Moreno inside to Ramsey, back to Moreno. He's got Kabore closing him down, been forced back into his own half here to Longley. As Aston Villa keep possession at the moment. It's on the edge of the 18-yard box with Emi Martinez. Konsa, right back now with Cash. He got Chong closing him down. But he goes back to Emi Martinez, who scored an own goal the last time these two sides met at Villa Park in the 3-1 win. Scored it with about 10 minutes left to play, but didn't have a real effect on the result in the end. Still Aston Villa 3 points as Watkins loses that to Mengi. 1-2 between Barkley and Morris. It's now out to the left to Chong. Tackled by Cash, taken away from him by Tielemans. He's going to go for a Watkins, go for a Bailey ball down the right-hand side. Ogbene brings down Leon Bailey. Fairly, says the referee. And it's midway side the Luton half here with Ross Barkley. Chong almost gets in his way, but he can play it back to Doughty. And it's now with Kaminsky in the 6-yard box there. Quickly played to the edge of the area here to the right side to Reece Burke, who came through at West Ham. Spent 15 years at the club, making 15 first-team appearances as well. Reece Burke, but joined Luton from Hull in July 2021. As Moreno goes down over the challenge from Kabore. That'll be a free kick for Aston Villa. Inside their defensive third. And, yeah, Jacob Ramsey cannot continue. He picked up a slight foot problem early on in the half. And he has given it a good go to try and wriggle the knockoff, but obviously he's just in a little bit too much discomfort. And he'll be replaced by number 27, Morgan Rogers, who's making his third Aston Villa appearance. The two previous have been late subs off the bench against Sheffield United and Nottingham Forest. He's still yet to start for Aston Villa, Morgan Rogers, but he will have to be patient to get his time here in the first team squad of Aston Villa, because they've got some real quality in depth in the attacking areas. Martinez goes long from that free kick, flicked on by Watkins to Rogers in the box on the left-hand side. Crosses off Burke, and you win the corner. A very positive introduction from Morgan Rogers. Down that left-hand side, getting on the end of the Watkins flick-up. So, their last corner from the opposite side, Aston Villa scored. Will they make most of these set pieces? Once again, it'll be Luiz to cross this time. In-swinger, into the box, headed away by a Luton player, and that'll be another corner. Headed towards goal there by Ted and Mengi. And that will be an Aston Villa corner again. Seem to be just hobbling here, Ted and Mengi. Maybe an awkward landing on his left leg. He's really struggling here. Looks like he's holding the left ankle, and he's just kneeling down at the moment. Michael Oliver, the referee, just seeing if he's okay. And Rob Edwards doesn't need any more injury issues. He's already got plenty enough as it is. Obviously, his captain, Tom Lockyer, out with that heart problem. Mads Anderson as well. Also out, centre-back this time from Barnsley. As Villa have played it to the edge of the box to Tielemans. Crosses it to the far post. Headed away by Reece Burke for Luton. It goes out to the right flank here to John McGinn. 1-on-1 with Doughty. Want to get onto his left foot. He's allowed to, and he's allowed the crossing as well, which is headed towards goal by Longley. And about 8 yards out, he's headed the ball over the bar, but just seems just too easy for Aston Villa to work these crosses in the box. We know that McGinn is left-footed, and he's going to get it onto his left foot. It's too easy from Doughty to let him get it onto his left foot and allow him to cross it. Unfortunately, Clement Longley couldn't head home for his first Aston Villa goal. But it seems like it could be getting from bad to worse here for Luton, because Ted and Mengi's down and they don't have any out-and-out centre-backs on the bench. They simply just do not have that. They're already using Alfie Doughty in an unorthodox left centre-back position of a back three. Alfie Doughty is usually playing on the wing as the wing-back. You know, they've got Lockyer out, Anderson out, Osho out. There's 3 centre-backs already injured. They don't want to make that 4, especially with the fact that Luton do use this 3 at the back system. But it looks like he's trying to jog off this slight knock he's got as he goes to this near side here. So it'll be a goal kick for Luton. Be taken by Thomas Kaminski. We've already had 2 subs, 1 for each team, with injuries. Bell went off early for Luton and Ramsey's just come off a couple of minutes ago for Rodgers. As Kaminski sends the ball into the Luton half, flicked on by Morris, chased down by Townsend, but it'll be Martinez to get there first on the edge of the box, who clears it away with his left foot. Headed forward by Kabore to the halfway line to Barkley. Back to Kabore on the near side. Bursts away from Rodgers. Tries to play down the line towards Townsend. It will be Longley to get there first. Townsend will chase this as Longley can shepherd the ball out for a goal kick. Good defending from the Frenchman, who's making his 10th appearance of the season in the league, and they've all come in the last 10. He's been ever present in the back line for Aston Villa in the league from the 22nd of December. So Martinez goes to the left back, Moreno. Gets inside to the midfield to Rodgers, who's just slightly come inside for the ball here and then switches out to the right to Bailey. Good play from Rodgers. Bailey through for Watkins on the edge of the area. He enters the box onto his right foot, strikes it, and it's just gone wide. That is not far away for Ollie Watkins. He's already got on the score sheet once tonight, and he was nearly on it for his brace. Bailey finding that space down the right channel again, and Mengi couldn't get close enough to Watkins. He had the strike across goal like all strikers do, striking it across, and it just flicks the post. That's how close it was. And Aston Villa are definitely the team on top at the moment. As the goal kick goes long for Luton, headed backwards by Louise, volleyed inside by Moreno. Bit of a scruffy bit of play here for Villa. Nodded down by Morris to Townsend, who's tackled strongly by Moreno. And it's cleared again a little bit wayward from Conser, and it'll be a Luton throw-in on the near side, inside the Aston Villa half. So maybe they could build a bit of momentum here. Luton Town, as they've thrown it into their own half, and they've worked out to this far side here to Ogbene, who's midway inside the Aston Villa half, takes on Bailey. Ogbene on the ball, crosses left-footed, it's miscued and onto the roof of the net. Needs to be better. 35 minutes in here, and Luton Town have still not had a shot on goal. You can't count that as a cross. That can't count that as a shot, sorry. That was definitely a cross, but just couldn't quite work it towards Morris, who was in the box waiting for it, but onto the roof of the net it went. So I think Michael Oliver having a word here with Emi Martinez just to get a move on with this play, this goal kick. Taking a bit too long for the referee's liking. Martinez forward to the edge of the box to Louise. Can play it to the left to Longley. Good touch there because the ball was just slightly raised towards him as he goes down the line to Watkins. Pulled down by Mengi. Free kick for Aston Villa. Just inside their own half on the near side. Unai Emery being charismatic as usual. The 52-year-old Spanish manager. Retired from football back in 2004. Unai Emery. Not been playing for the last 20 years. But he's not had a half-bad managerial career. Unai Emery. Winning plenty of honours. 7 at PSG. 4 Europa Leagues, which is just absolutely ridiculous. 3 with Sevilla. All on the trot. And then most recently with Villarreal in 2021, where he also got Villarreal to the Champions League semi-finals a couple of seasons ago. As it's Tielemans, ball through to the box towards Rodgers. It's Kaminski out of his net quickly to stop that ball going through to Morgan Rodgers. But not a bad ball there from Yuri Tielemans, who has started 5 of the last 6 games in the league. For Aston Villa, there's a switch out by Luton, headed forward by Moreno, into the Luton half here with Morgan Rodgers. Got Townsend on his back, but he finds the left back, Moreno, inside his own half. He'll drive inside, plays it across to McGinn, who's got Clark closing him down, but he can just play it calmly backwards here to Longley, who's going to look to go forward now for Villa. Finds McGinn in the central area again, out to the far side to Cash, still inside the Aston Villa half here. So there's your Conter at right centre-back. It's now with Martinez in the 18-yard box. Forward to Rodgers, just drifted inside into a central area, pokes it forward to Tielemans, who can't quite keep it away from the Luton players. Then Rodgers takes over, pull of the shirt by Barkley, and that'll be a yellow card. Reece Burke, and that'll be a yellow card for Luton's number 16, as Watkins is in and he fires it home. Flag up. Did not see how that went through to Watkins. They were showing a replay of the foul on Watkins as he had his the foul on Rodgers as he was having his shirt pulled. So just going to have to see how this all played out. So Aston Villa had the free kick, won by Rodgers, had his shirt pulled by Burke, and Villa went quickly with the free kick. It was taken by Luiz, just a simple ball over the top to Watkins, completely caught the Luton Town defence napping. Over the top it went, and it's close. The run's made about midway inside the Luton half, and he latches onto it, perfect touch in front of him, Watkins, and he can hit it. First time after the touch, just opened up the body, like Thierry Henry, curled it into that far corner, a little nick off the post and in. But we're going to get a check for offside here. It's close. The player who looks like he could be playing him onside is Chidozie Ogbene, who's the left wing back, but just completely caught the Luton Town defence sleeping. Schoolboy errors there from Luton, and Watkins has brought the ball down so well into the area and then curled it into that far corner. As he's looking for a brace here, Watkins, and he's onside, and Aston Villa double their lead at Kenilworth Road. Ollie Watkins has both. They have completely embarrassed the Luton defence there with a quick free kick. The Luton defence completely unaware of the quick free kick being taken. Watkins found in behind by Luiz, and he brought it down expertly. Ollie Watkins, the first touch in front of him, so his next touch can be the shot. Wraps it inside that far post. Took a slight nick off the woodwork into the back of the net, beating Kaminsky in the Luton Town goal. And for Watkins, it's his 16th now of the season in the Premier League. It's his 21st in all competitions. And that is nothing short of wonderful from Watkins. Touch with the left, finish with the right. There is going to be some very big clubs, not just in England, but in Europe, who are going to be keeping a close eye on this Ollie Watkins, because he is some player. It's his best ever goal scoring season. He scored 5 more than he did in the entirety of last season in all competitions. And we've got to give huge credit to Douglas Luiz there, who took the free kick quickly. Perfectly weighted pass over the top for Watkins. And the number 11 for Aston Villa did the rest. And this has been a very strong performance from Aston Villa, but considerably weak from Luton. We know they're better than this, but they are being outplayed at the moment, as we're still waiting for the first Luton Town shot of the game. And before they've even had a shot, Luton, we've already had 8 for Aston Villa, 4 of them on target. What a performance so far from Aston Villa. This is how you come to Kenilworth Road, a stadium like this, so enclosed, so old school. And they're playing them off the park at the moment, Villa. And they're on the ball on the edge of the 18-yard box, given away by Tielemans. 5-4 by Chong to Morris. Back out of the 18-yard box to Doughty. Forward from left centre-half. Goes down the line here to Morris. One-on-one with Cash. Morris in the box. Onto his right foot. Crosses towards Townsend. Headed forward by Conser. Headed back forward by Barkley. Headed away by Longley. Needs to meet it a second time. Headed forward by Benet. But there's a stoppage here as 2 Luton players are down here. 2 players are down here. One for Luton of Reece Burke. And Ollie Watkins is the other one. Watkins went up for the header with Burke. And he was clattered into by the Luton number 16. So I think a free kick may have actually been given here for Watkins. He was met with a heavy challenge there by Reece Burke. And Watkins there getting back to his feet. McGinn signalling to the near side that Watkins won't need treatment. Because if he does receive treatment, then of course he will have to stay off the field for a little bit of time. So it looks like it will be an Aston Villa free kick here on the edge of the box as Watkins has scored twice. His first in the 24th minute of the game. Header at the near post from a corner. And then the second one Just the 15 minutes later. Quick free kick in the centre circle from Louise over the top of Reece Burke. And then in the box, Watkins took the touch with the left. Finished with the right. And it's Watkins with the brace. Already. And we're not even at half time yet. Throwing into the box for Aston Villa. Dealt with by Luton's Ogbene. Clears it down the left-hand side. Let through by McGinn to find Conser on the halfway line. Forward to McGinn, who will go into the centre circle here with past it Longley. Out to the left-back Moreno. 10 yards away from halfway. Goes across to the right centre-back here of Conser. It's now with Martinez in the 18-yard box. To the left here in the defensive third to Longley. Just about shifts it away from Townsend and hurries the clearance with his right foot up towards Watkins, who has gone down over the challenger Mengi, but he doesn't complain with this one. And play is allowed to continue as Kaminski is forced to clear quickly. Out towards the Luton right, straight out of play. Thrown for Aston Villa, just inside their own half on this near side. As the throwing goes into the Aston Villa half here, it's with Emi Martinez. If he keeps a clean sheet tonight, it'll be his 50th in the Premier League. As he clips the ball forward here. Can't quite find Watkins. Dealt with by Ogbene. It's now with Mengi. Heads it towards Ogbene. Just about keeps it away from Aston Villa's front line, but then they give it straight to them. Rodgers enters the box. Right-footed strike. Great save. Kaminski. He was aiming towards that top right corner, and the Belgian goalkeeper was equal to it. But Luton spoon-feeding Aston Villa chances. Mengi just about got it back to Ogbene, and then Ogbene went to pass it across to Reece Burke, but it went straight to Rodgers instead, who ran at Burke, and was allowed to work it onto his right foot. The shot came in from Rodgers, and it had to be a save from Kaminski. But he was equal to the strike, as Rodgers is looking for his first ever Aston Villa goal, and it would be his first ever Premier League goal as well. As the clubs he's previously played for have been in the Championship. Leon Bailey crosses it far post this time. Easy catch in the 6-yard box for Kaminski. Not punished from the set-piece Luton as they try and get one back themselves here. Jordan Clark on the far side. He's got the runs in front of him, but none that are too clear for him. But he can go around the outside of Louise and then pulled down by the Brazilian. And it's a free kick and a yellow card. Positive run in there by Luton's number 18, Jordan Clark. Didn't look like there was many options there for him in terms of a clear pass through. So instead he tried to go around the outside of Louise with the heavy touch, and it looked like he was beating the Aston Villa number 6, but he was just brought to the ground there. And it'll be a free kick for Luton as we've hit the 45th minute here at Kenilworth Road. We are still waiting for the first Luton shot of the game. As there was a little bit of off the ball shenanigans there between Longley and Morris. But the referee didn't see it, and Louise is in the book. And on the far side, it's a free kick for Luton. 7 minutes added on. We have had a lot of injury stoppages, hence why we've got 7 minutes added on. We've already had 2 players come off with injury. As it's Doughty, left-footed. Ball goes into the far post. Morris with the header across, and it's dealt with by Rodgers. And it's Ogbene out to the right-hand side to Clark. Forward to Chong in the final third. Turns into McGinn. But Townsend can win it back. Clark forward to Chong in the box with his left foot. Strikes it, blocks, and it eventually goes behind for a corner. Chong's asking for a penalty kick. He thinks there's a handball in there. But as Chong struck, it came off Longley and then deflected off Moreno. And it was Moreno in the end who just kicked it behind for a corner. It'd be a very harsh penalty to give away because as it was deflected off Longley, Moreno was just running like he usually would, and it just came off his hand as he was running, and it was point blank range. That'd be very harsh. So it will just be a Luton corner as we have had their first shot. As the ball goes into the near post, flicked away by a Aston Villa man at the near post, comes out to Ogbene, comes out to Kabore. To the far side now to Clark. Forward for Chong. Loads of time here for him to pick a cross, and oh my word. He's absolutely ballooned that across the other end of the pitch. And I don't know if that's gone for a goal kick or a throw-in, but that is awful from Taif Chong, who's obviously got under that completely and sent that absolutely flying. And that's a huge chance for Luton. as they're starting to put Villa just under a little bit of pressure here at the end of the first half. But that's a waste from Chong, as he is the man who's given Luton their first shot of the game. It was blocked pretty early from Longley, as Martinez sends this goal kick long out to the Aston Villa left-hand side. Nodded forward here for Luton by Burke. Barkley on the near side, chipping it forward towards Morris, headed away by Longley. Morris challenges with McGinn, and he picks it up midway inside the Luton half. It's back to the halfway line now to Doughty. Tries to go across towards Ogbene, comes off Bailey, but Ogbene will beat the Jamaican to it. And Luton are back on the ball inside their own half here with Alfie Doughty, who's got away with that misplaced pass. And he's going to go out for a switch himself towards Kabore. Loses his footing, and out it goes for an Aston Villa throw midway inside their own half. Just lost his footing there. Issa Kabore, who's on loan from Manchester City, who's been at the club since 2020. Spent last season on loan at Marseille, where he made 4 appearances in the Champions League. Kabore, without making a start, but he did play every minute for Burkina Faso in the AFCON, where they reached the last 16 in the Africa Cup of Nations. As in the left-back position, it's Aston Villa. Down the line for Watkins, who dummies the ball and gets it on the end there after going around Mengi. Really good play from Watkins. Plays it inside to Rodgers. Back out to the left here to Watkins. So now with Moreno on this near side. It's the halfway line to Longley. Luton have got everyone behind the ball now. But that from Watkins to dummy the ball and to run around Mengi just shows confidence from Ollie Watkins. He's already got 2 goals tonight. McGinn in the centre circle allows Louise to take over, and he charges forward and he plays it through for Watkins, who's on a hat-trick. On his right foot, tries to go into the box with a pass towards Tielemans, cleared by Ogbene, only as far as McGinn, who fires it to the near side here to Moreno. Unselfish there from Watkins. Mentioned before, he's got 10 assists this season in the league, so we know his creative ability is up there with his goal scoring, but couldn't quite feed the ball through into the box for Tielemans. Bailey, 10 yards inside the Luton half, going out towards Cash in the box. His touch can't quite get away from him, can't quite get away from Chong, and Luton can clear up the field towards Morris, who's been ever so isolated in this game, but he holds it up and replays it into Ogbene, who's been brought down there by Bailey on halfway, and that'll be another booking for Aston Villa. They clearly there, it shows they need to get Carlton Morris more in the game, because the big striker up front has held the ball up beautifully there and got it back into Ogbene, who's won the free kick. They've taken it quickly. In the final third here, Ogbene on his left foot. He wants to cross. He will lift it in towards Kabore, whose header's gone away from goal. Headed down to Townsend, whose header loops over the crossbar. It's definitely been a better last 7 or 8 minutes for Luton Town, who've struggled for the vast majority of this first half. Ogbene on the left wing position, working the cross away from Cash. Kabore's header was dealt with there by Rodgers, and it went across goal to Morris, who headed it back inside to Townsend, whose header looped over the crossbar. But it's better from Luton. They actually are showing signs that they could cause some issues for Aston Villa tonight. Emi Martinez takes the goal kick into the Luton half, into a central area, flicked on by Tielemans. Rodgers will chase it, dealt with by Burke. Chest it down and plays it out to the Luton left here to Chong. Back to Clark. Dispossessed by Tielemans. It's now McGinn on the far side. Plays the ball forward to Bailey. Spins away from Clark. Plays it into the path of McGinn in a right wing position. He's one-on-one with Ogbene. McGinn plays the ball back to Tielemans. Returns it to McGinn. Ball inside to Rodgers. Touches it into Bailey. Rodgers again into Bailey, who will strike it towards goal. Took a slight little nick there, so took the power off the shot, and it was an easy save towards the near post there for Thomas Kaminski. Just came off the knee of Mengi, and comfortable save for the Luton Town goalkeeper, who, despite only keeping 2 clean sheets and conceding 53 goals now in the league, Thomas Kaminski averaging over 2 goals a game, conceding. He has been praised for his performances. It seems like if it wasn't for Kaminski, Luton would be conceding a lot more this season. As they've got it on the halfway line here with Ross Barkley running across the field to stay away from Tielemans, and plays the ball to the right to Burke, forward to the right flank now to Kabore. He's got the option to his left. He finds Clark, who will clip it into the box here towards Ogbene. Header away by Cash to the edge of the area, helped on by Bailey. Tackle strongly there, Barkley. And then Chong tripped by McGinn. And that is a free kick in a brilliant position for Luton Town. McGinn is certain it's not a foul. But from around 22 yards out, just to the left-hand side of the box, it's perfect for a right footer. And I think Ross Barkley is already lining this one up. Just went across Chong there, McGinn not winning the ball. And it gave Mike Oliver just the one decision of giving the free kick for Luton in a fantastic area. And if they can score before half-time, half the deficit to 2-1, we could have a real game on our hands in the second half. As Leon Bailey was just down for the moment there, holding his back, but he's back to his feet. And it looks like it will be Ross Barkley to hit this one. Ross Barkley has scored 3 times this season. His first game against Arsenal on the 5th of December, but then he's also scored against Chelsea on the 30th of December, and then most recently away at St James's Park on the 3rd of February. Ross Barkley hits the free kick into the wall. Deflects away, and the referee then blows for half-time. An anticlimax, to say the least, there with Ross Barkley's free kick. But at half-time here, after 53 minutes of play of Kenilworth Road, it is Luton Town 0, Aston Villa 2, and they are more than deserved of their 2-goal lead. The first goal came through Ollie Watkins in the 24th minute. He came close multiple times before that, finding spaces in the 18-yard box for Aston Villa, but this one was from a corner. It was an in-swinger from Leon Bailey, and it was a header at the near post, headed forward by Watkins into the top right corner, left Kaminski stuck to the ground, no movement from the goalkeeper, and it gave Watkins his first goal. And 15 minutes later, he scored his second. A free kick won in the centre circle by Rodgers was taken quickly by Louise. A ball over the top of the Luton defence, which was left napping. They were completely unaware of the quick free kick. Over the top, it went for Watkins. His first touch was in front of him, into the box, and which allowed his second touch to be the shot. He curled it into the far corner of the goal, taking a slight nick off the post, but it doubled Aston Villa's lead. And after that goal, from the 38th minute to the end of the half, Luton started to grow into the game, starting to show that they can cause Aston Villa a couple of issues, having a few shots. They've only managed to work 3 shots at goal, none of them on target. But from the Aston Villa goal to half-time, they have shown glimpses of what they can do, but at the moment it's Villa who lead. They are deserved of the lead, but Luton need to step it up in the second half, as here at Kenilworth Road at half-time, it is Luton 0, Aston Villa 2. They are they've played very well there, Aston Villa. Like I say, Luton have just got themselves back in the game ever so slightly at the end of the half, but it's mainly been Aston Villa who have just pulled this Luton Town team apart, knowing what movements to make to create the spaces, and then they find those spaces and they find the most dangerous plays in them, and it's led to some really dangerous chances, and they've given themselves a 2-goal lead. Perfect away performance from Aston Villa. I'm going to go for half-time, but I'll be back in 15 minutes. Make sure you return for the second half live commentary of Luton against Aston Villa. At the minute, it's Luton 0, Aston Villa 2, but come back in around 15 minutes for second half commentary. Oh, we are back. Do apologise, a little bit of a late start for the second half. Just had to get something sorted. But we're just a minute and a half into the second half. No goals. Still Aston Villa 2 up here at Kenilworth Road. I'll have a quick check if there was any changes, because I don't know that for sure. But that's a foul there by Rodgers on Kabore, as Luton continue to grow into this game, which they were able to do at the end of the first half after a very poor first 40 or so minutes in the game. Kabore just caught in the final third by Rodgers. So a really good area again to get the ball in the box for Luton, which they're known to do this season, getting those crosses in, winning the headers. They have got Carlton Morris in the box, but they have usually had the aerial threat of Elijah Adebayo as well, but he's out at the moment as Barkley crosses into the box. It's a free header from Burke, but he can only glance it across the box. It'll be recollected on the far side by Clark, who will let the ball roll out for a throw-in, so last touch must have come off a Villa player. Throwing into Morris in the box, can't quite keep it away from McGinn, and it's now with Leon Bailey on this near side. Switches it out to the left towards Watkins, cut out by Burke for Luton. Ross Barkley out to the far side now to Andros Townsend. He has got Kabore overlapping. Townsend onto his left foot. Delivers the ball in. Good header won by Conser. Headed to the left by Bailey to Tielemans on the edge of the box. He goes long towards Watkins. His touch can't find Rodgers. It's now with Kabore again at right wing back for Luton Town. Can he work across himself? He puts it in front of him to Townsend. He's on his right foot. Crosses into the area. Header won by Longley. He'll run through for Tielemans, who will be tackled by Clark. And the loose ball will deflect back to Tielemans, who can get away from Burke. And Aston Villa can try and push up the field here as much as possible, as they're just under a little bit of early second half pressure from Luton. Good ball by McGinn in between the lines here. What a ball that is. Rodgers across to the left to Watkins in the area on his right foot. Watkins for the hat-trick. And it just lightly rolls into the keeper's arms. Not a lot of power on that shot by Watkins. It was really well worked though between McGinn and Rodgers to link up there to find Aston Villa attacking deeply in the Luton half. But Watkins couldn't quite secure his second hat-trick of the season in the league. Already has 2 hat-tricks in all competitions. Scored against Hibernian away in the first leg of their Europa and their Conference League qualifier. There's Luton, switch it out to the right. Kabore, good touch, midway side the Villa half, on the far side. Kabore wants to deliver it early, goes against that and then runs at Rodgers. Tries to go around the outside of him, then goes down over the challenge. And he's been penalised there, Rodgers. Kabore winning another free kick there as his shorts have fell nearly completely down there, as Morgan Rodgers will be booked here for Aston Villa. Just got his arm across Kabore there, Rodgers, and then clipped him as Kabore got in front of him. So it's a rightly given free kick there by Michael Oliver. There's Aston Villa are under some early pressure here. Luton were showing signs of this in the late stages of the first half, and they've continued that into the second. And it's going to be Ross Barkley with his right foot from the right flank. Got plenty of bodies in there. Goes to the edge of the box instead of Doughty, who's got time to shoot with his left foot. Blocked by Tielemans. Kabore back out to the right to Barkley. Will this time he cross it? Nope. Keeps the ball moving across the pitch here, moving away from Leon Bailey. Still with Ross Barkley. Out to the near side here to Taif Chong, who's running at McGinn. Goes on the outside of the Scotsman. Chong to the byline. Crosses low to the near post. And that'll be a corner kick. Deflected off McGinn. And Martinez couldn't stop the resulting corner from happening. And it's been a really good start here from Luton, who have lost 5 of their last 7 Premier League home games. And they have lost the last 2 in a row. And the last time that Luton lost 3 consecutive home games was back in April 2016 when they were in League 2. So they don't usually falter at home consecutively. But that run and that record is under real pressure at the moment. As we're going to get a left-footed outswinger here from Doughty. It looks like he might almost just lift this one across. It is an outswinger. It's got curl on it. Header won by Watkins. Drops in the box to Mengi, who heads the ball forward into the box. But as he headed it forward towards Morris, the Luton's captain was in an offside position. And the free kick goes Aston Villa's way. But even though the flag was up, Morris and Conte still battled for the ball, and it looks like Conte was just caught there, so he's just stayed down Aston Villa's number 4. As it looks like Luton are going to make an early second half change here. No changes were made at half time. We had one change each in the first half. Bell and Ramsey coming off for Luton and Aston Villa with injury issues. But it looks like they are going to make a change very shortly, Luton. Some activity on their bench. Emi Martinez clips the ball out to the right-hand side. Headed backwards by Ogbene. Doughty just about works it back to Kaminsky ahead of Watkins. It goes to the right here to Kabore. Midway side his own half. Kabore with the ball. Goes to his left to Clark. Back into Kabore. First time ball forward. Can't find Morris. Cleared away by Longley on halfway. Loops into the sky. Header won by Mengi. Controlled by McGinn. Uses his body. Honestly, McGinn is genuinely one of the best players I've ever seen when using his body. He's brilliant at shielding the ball and keeping the ball away from opposition players. He's so good at it. Every time I see him, he's outstanding doing that. It's Martinez on the ball for Aston Villa. Clips it up to the halfway line to Watkins, who touches it down for Tielemans. Quickly out to the right to Bailey, but I think Watkins was offside as Martinez found him. And Watkins does apologise. As Luton are going to make that change. It's going to be number 30, Andros Townsend, who's making his 15th appearance against Aston Villa. He'll be replaced by a new January signing for Luton, and that's Daiki Hasioka, who signed from Sint Truiden in Belgium for £2 million. He made his debut in the week off the bench against Manchester City. He's known for being a right back, usually. As the Luton attack here, Kabore, 1-2 of Ogbene. Kabore clear crosses. Clement Longley slices his clearance, and there'll be a corner kick for Aston Villa, for Luton on the far side. Just interesting to see where Daiki Hasioka will play. He can play right back, but he can play all the way up the right side. He can play high up as well as almost as a winger. So let's see where he slots in here, the 24-year-old Japanese fullback. There's Luton have got some movement in the box, waiting for this delivery from the corner. It's going to be an in-swinger from Doughty. Cross goes into the 6-yard box, well caught by Martinez. Lands on his back. He felt that one, but it was confident goalkeeping. And it's Aston Villa who regain possession of the ball. But this meeting, this fixture does have a history of old as well. The first time these two sides met was back in 1922, 102 years ago. It was an Aston Villa 1-0 win in the FA Cup. But Luton have won 9 of their last 11 home games against Aston Villa, including winning the last 3. Yes, the last time these two sides met regularly was 30, 40 years ago, but still, usually Luton like this fixture at home to Aston Villa, as they've got a throw in here, taken quickly to Barkley on the halfway line, brought down by Tielemans, but Barkley gets back to his feet quickly, and play can continue. Barkley, high ball out to the right-hand side here, looking for Kabore, headed away by Moreno, along as far as Reece Burke, and it's Luton to come forward. Kabore, down the line it goes to Ogbene, who's away from Villa players. Ogbene's got time to cross it, but he kicks it straight onto the foot of Louise, who can deflect the ball away for a throw-in in the final third for Luton, as the fans are getting up for this because they've had a really good first opening 10 minutes of this second half. As it does look like Daiki Hasioka, the substitute, will be playing at left centre-back, so obviously showing his versatility here, as Doughty keeps that in. And Doughty is now allowed to move back to left wing-back as Chong brings the ball forward. In the final third, he's tripped by Cash, who cannot believe that decision's gone against him. And that'll be a free kick for Luton Town. Chong driving forward. Cash tried to show him down the line. And as Cash went to win the ball, I think Chong just got his foot in front of it. And it meant that Cash caught his foot and brought him down. So it's a free kick for Luton. Just outside the box on the left-hand side. So no angle really for a shot, especially with the left foot of Doughty. You need a right footer to try and swing this in towards goal. So another delivery from Doughty, who has not assisted in his last 5 in the Premier League. He crosses it to the far post, headed towards goal and onto the roof of the net. The ball was put into Morris, who won the header, looped it over the crossbar, and he's been in goal-scoring form recently, Carlton Morris, 4 in his last 6 in the Premier League, scoring against Manchester United, Sheffield United, Newcastle and Burnley. But that time he couldn't get it underneath the crossbar. But it does seem like Luton have got the facilities to score. He's just trying to get it in the back of the net. Martinez sends the goal kick forward. Strong header by Mengi. Back into the Villa half. Flicked out wide by Ogbene. Straight to Kabore, who takes a heavy touch. Moreno gets across but can't get there. Kabore lifts it in to the far post. Nodded away over to Doughty, who can strike it towards goal. Big block. But still alive for Luton with Burke. Out to the left here to Hasioka. Chong down the line for Barkley. In a left wing position. Onto his right foot. Can't quite deliver the ball yet. He'll play the ball across instead to Burke, who's got Kabore furthest wide, and he finds him on the far side. Into Ogbene. Back into Burke. Got over half an hour left here. Luton still trail by 2, but they are showing signs of being able to score a goal here. As it's Hasioka. On halfway. Goes back to the goalkeeper Kaminski on the edge of the 18-yard box. Out to the right now to Burke. Over the top for Ogbene, who is onside, but it's overhit the pass. Straight through for Emi Martinez. And it's Aston Villa who can try and get back on the ball and try and just relax a little bit, because they are allowing Luton back in this one. And Aston Villa, who have won their last 2 away games on the bounce, they've won back-to-back away games in the league for the first time this season. In the 5-0 win to Sheffield United, then winning in their last away game to Fulham by 2-1, which is a good result at Craven Cottage. Fulham are strong at home this season. It's Martinez on the ball with his feet here. He goes long out towards the Aston Villa left. Header won on the halfway line by Burke. Beat the ball to Watkins. And it's now to Kabore, who's been a constant threat, especially this second half for Luton. Ball goes inside to Ogbene. Deflects off Longley to Louise. And it's now the Brazilian midfielder who plays it forward to Bailey, asking a lot of the Jamaican winger who can't beat Mengi to it, who can play it back to his goalkeeper Kaminski. And it's back with Luton, almost there for Aston Villa, who will play on the counter-attack this second half. And you can't blame them when you've got the likes of Watkins and Bailey up front with that sheer pace. You can really rely on them to go on the counter as Cash heads back to Martinez there as Luton tried to get a ball to the edge of the box to Doughty. Well dealt with there by Cash. And Martinez, ball in his hands, kicks it out of his hands, goes long towards Watkins. It's a pinpoint accurate ball, and Watkins can control it. Out to the left-hand side here, Watkins. Plays it back to Moreno, who drives inside from left-back and plays it to the halfway line to Louise. Been closed down here by Clark, and he's been forced all the way back to Martinez on the edge of the 18-yard box for Villa, who quickly shifts it to right centre-back, Ezri Konsa. Inside to McGinn. Keeps the ball away from Barkley and plays it forward to Tielemans. We're still in the Aston Villa half here, with Cash at right back. Back to Konsa. And across to Martinez. Morris is closing him down. Martinez still has it. Finds Longley, who goes over the top towards Watkins. It's cut out by Burke, but can only slide the ball out for a throw-in on halfway for Aston Villa. And he'll be taken by their Spanish left-back, number 15, Alex Moreno, who spent a year at Barcelona from 2011 to 2012, but more known for his time at Real Betis, his previous club. Martinez goes long again, up towards Watkins, headed forward by Mengi, picked up loosely by Kabore, but he was brought down by Rodgers. It's another free kick that's gone Luton's way. Just got there late that time. Morgan Rodgers, not for the first time really as well, that he's been penalised for a foul. And Luton can build from the back with Burke on the halfway line. All Aston Villa players behind the ball as the ball goes over the top by Clark and he finds Kabore, who will beat Rodgers to it, takes it on the inside and wants to shoot with the left foot, which prodded away from him by Moreno before he can take that shot on, but it can be nothing but positives for Rob Edwards and Luton in this second half. They've been absolutely superb. They just need a goal to show for their efforts and quality. So it'll be Alfie Doughty again to cross the ball in from the far side. So it'll be a left-footed in-swinger. Plenty of Luton bodies in there. They are almost surrounding the penalty spot. Ball goes in, straight to Martinez again. Second time he's done that. Good catch, and it's a throw from Martinez to find Watkins here, who enters the Luton half. He's got Bailey in front of him on the far side, and they find him. And it'll be Bailey to run at Ogbene in the final third. Has to run backwards a little bit, take on Doughty to keep possession. And it's now with Moreno, the left back. It's now to Louise, just in front of the halfway line. Brings it forward. He's got the runner cashing behind. He's going to try and find the Polish international. It's just overhit slightly, but he'll keep it in on the near side. And tackle by Chong, last touch off Cash. And that is a throw-in for Luton. Just needed a slightly better ball there from Louise to find Cash. Just sent him out wide and eventually couldn't get away from Taif Chong. Clark on the edge of the box. Plays it out to the right here to Burke as Luton try and attack quickly. Into the Aston Villa half we go with a pass to Kabore. Luton's number 12 on loan from Manchester City. Goes inside to Ogbene, who gets into the final third here. Goes to his left here to Jordan Clark. Back through towards Ogbene and they find him free in the area. Cuts back, deflects it, loops up and it's dealt with by Bailey. It's not quite getting the rub of the green there, Luton. Fell to Bailey instead and Villa will try and play out here. Through Tielemans on this right-hand side. Goes across the long late left centre-back. Midway inside the Villa half. And it's forward now to Louise. Time on the ball here for the former Manchester City midfielder. Never made an appearance for the Sky Blues of Manchester. Before being signed by Aston Villa for £15 million. What a signing that looks to have been for Aston Villa. Been at the club now for into his 5th year. Douglas Luiz is Rodgers, poor touch. Barkley forward to Ogbene. It's now Burke into Kabore. Again in the final third. The cross needs to be right this time. It's a one hit with pace. And straight into Martinez again. Luton are doing everything right to get into the areas, to get the crosses into the box. But it's that cross that is letting them down completely. Too many of them are going straight into the gloves of Emi Martinez. That's a high ball out towards the right to Bailey. Loses out. And it's now Chong who gets the ball deflected off Cash. Back off Chong. And it'll be an Aston Villa throw just inside their own half here. As Aston Villa have got 3 wins in their last 4 Premier League games. Those 3 wins coming against Sheffield United and Fulham away. And then the most recent victory against Forest at home. 2 losses in the last 5 in all competitions. Against Chelsea in the FA Cup. Then against Manchester United on the 11th of February. But it seems like they are in just decent, good enough form to keep them into this top 4. They can't be making too many more defeats on a regular basis, Aston Villa, but they're not at the minute. They're definitely winning more than they are dropping points. Tielemans, great touch inside to the box. Can he keep it away from the Luton defenders? No, he can't. 2 of them were surrounding him. And it was Burke, I think, in the end to just kick the ball away. But it's only gone as far as Aston Villa play. But Louise gives it away to Barkley. Up to Morris, then back to Clark, who can keep it away from Tielemans. It's now out to the left to Barkley. He's got Chong on the near side. Plays it into his path. Here's Taif Chong. One-on-one with Cash. Driving on the inside and finding Barkley, who will switch it out to the right towards Kabore. It's a great pass. Good touch as well. Keeps it away from Moreno. Kabore inside to Ogbene. Back out to Kabore, who will cross it to the near post. And a lack of communication forces Longley to put the ball out for a corner. Martinez was ready there to catch it, but Longley couldn't hear the shout. And behind he put it, but then again, he just covers over the cracks, that clearance, because the cross wasn't good enough again. Fortunate that there was a miscommunication between Longley and Martinez, and they've got themselves another corner. Can Luton get themselves back in this game? They've done everything but score, really. Ball goes deep. Header across goal by Konsa and towards goal. What a clearance off the line. Still alive. Chong forces it over the line. And Luton get that goal that they so very much deserve in this second half. Taif Chong is the one to force it over the line. It's his 2nd goal of the season in the league. It's his first since the home draw in November to Liverpool. And that could be the goal that really kickstarts the Luton comeback. The ball went deep to the far post. Headed across by Konsa. Headed forward by Burke. Off the line miraculously by Cash. But then Aston Villa couldn't clear in the 6-yard box. After the clearance from Cash, it went back across from Carlton Morris. And eventually, after a whole big mess, it was Taif Chong to kick that ball in the back of the net, forcing it over the line. Barkley did ever so well to put that ball back across after the cash clearance, and Chong was alert, got that left-footed shot towards goal, and we have got a game in our hands here at Kenilworth Road. It's Luton 1, Aston Villa 2, and it has been all Luton this second half. They've been superb. You can see why teams do struggle to come here a lot of the time and dominate. You know, Luton have only lost one game by more than one goal at home this season. As Villa want their 2-goal advantage back. Watkins go down over a challenge. Did seem a little bit soft there. So it'll be Chong to bring it away on the near side for Luton. On the halfway line, dragged down by McGinn. Another free kick for Luton. Unai Emery will definitely be worried here, for sure, because his side have almost just let Luton take over the game. And I know they've got a 2-goal cushion, but very cliche, but they do say 2-0 is a very dangerous scoreline. As it's with Luton, about 10 yards away from halfway. Mengi out to the right and forward to Burke. Now Kabore, who's been that constant threat on this right-hand side for Luton. Down the line, crosses low into the box. He goes all the way through to Chong, who controls it, tries to shoot, but it's dealt with by Bailey, who can bring it away. Kabore has been really good for Luton. As Bailey goes forward to Watkins on halfway. Needs to hold the ball up, plays it back to Tielemans, then forward to Bailey, who'd made the run forward. But it's away from the Jamaican, and it can be dealt with here by Ted and Mengi for Luton. What a second half performance. This has been Aston Villa. I've got their backs against the walls here. Ball over the top and up to the left, but no one's making the run here for Luton. But Aston Villa still deal with it with Cash heading it back to Emi Martinez. Just the 4 defeats for Aston Villa this season away from home in the league. They don't want to make that 5 with a huge game against Ajax coming up away from home on the Thursday. Martinez to the left centre half of Longley in the corner of the box on the left-hand side. Goes forward to Rodgers in the central area. Turns away and plays it forward to Tielemans. Puts it round the corner to the right-hand side to Cash. Good play here from Aston Villa. Can't get out of their own half at the moment, but they've kept it away from the Luton press. It's back with Conser on the edge of the box. Closed down here by Morris. Plays the ball across to his goalkeeper, Emi Martinez. Forward to Louise, then back out to the right centre half of Conser. Settled play here for Aston Villa as they just need to try and calm this game down as much as possible. Martinez, high ball forward, out to the left towards Watkins. It's dealt with by Mengi. Does concede the throw-in, but doesn't allow Watkins to get in behind. So 20 minutes to go. Long throwing down the line. Mengi slices away. So another throw-in for Aston Villa, right next to the corner flag on the far side. Do apologise. Hopefully that noise goes away for my sanity. So it looks like Aston Villa are actually going to go long with this throw-in. Moreno with the throw-in towards Watkins. It's come off the English striker last, and it'll be a goal kick for Luton. Tielemans was ready to claim that corner, but Watkins didn't really disagree with the decision. And it is a goal kick for Luton, taken quickly to the left centre half of this back three of Daiki. Hasioka needs to get it away here. Kaminsky goes forward to the edge of the box to Clark, then back out to the left here to Hasioka. Forward towards Doughty, cut out by Bailey. Throwing for Luton, taken quickly by Doughty. To Hasioka, poor touch, given away to Watkins, but he can't keep it in himself on this near side. And it's a throw-in again for Luton towards their defensive third. Doughty waiting for a little bit more movement from his Luton teammates here. Doughty throws down the line to the halfway line and beyond the halfway line to Ogbene, who can try and take on Conser here, and he does do so. He's been pulled back. That's got to be a free kick, and it will be. And I'm surprised Conser's not been butt there, because that was a clear pull on the arm of Ogbene, who got the better of Conser, who's usually better than that. Ezri Konsa just got a little bit lost and pulled back. Ogbene, who started today on the bench but came on early for the injured Amari Bell, and he's been brilliant on both flanks. So it's going to be a cross here from Doughty, the left wing back, who's also had to do a shift at left centre half today due to that early injury. Doughty crosses into the box. It's a wicked one to the far post, and it's volleyed in by Morris. Luton have completed the comeback. They're all square against Aston Villa. And this second half performance deserves this current result. Alfie Doughty hadn't picked up an assist in the Premier League in his last 5 games, but he's back assisting once again. It was a tremendous ball from this near side all the way across to the far post in the box, where it fell right onto that right boot of Carlton Morris, who scores his 5th goal in his last 7 Premier League games. All 3 on his own. McGinn lost his man. Konsa couldn't get across quick enough. A free shot at goal, slotted into the bottom left corner from Morris, who is starting to show how he can be Premier League quality. And what a contrast of halves. Villa dominated the first, Luton have dominated the second, and it's Luton 2, Aston Villa 2. What a game we've had. 2-2 here. Morris with the goal. He's been very isolated and he's not done a lot, Carlton Morris. Not down to his poor performance. Luton just haven't quite got him into the game. But every time he has got on the ball, he has looked like he can cause something. And that volley is perfect. Side-footed as well. Beyond Emi Martinez, who still has to wait for his 50th Premier League clean sheet. And for Aston Villa, it's now 2 clean sheets in their last 11 Premier League games. That's where they're struggling the most. They're just lacking the defensive solidity. And Chong goes down over a challenge. Nothing given that time. Throwing for Aston Villa. Midway inside their own half on the near side. But I think what they've missed massively, Aston Villa, I know they're still in the top 4 at the moment, but they're only in the top 4, 3 points clear of Tottenham. But they've definitely missed Pau Torres, who's still returning from injury that he picked up between December and February. And he has been returning this month. And he started the last 2 games, but I think Unai Emery's still just trying to monitor his fitness, and they're missing him tonight. And Ollie Watkins with his brace in the first half, that's been cancelled out. As Luton have it in their area. Out to the left here to Chong, who can clear it away from Cash. Up to Morris, who keeps it away from Konsa for the moment. He's eventually tackled by Aston Villa's number 4. That's now with McGinn on halfway. Goes back into the Aston Villa half here with Longley in the central area. Goes out to the right here to Konsa on this near side. Forced to go back to Martinez. Good press there from Carlton Morris. He scores his first ever goal against Aston Villa. There's a ball long from Emi Martinez. Header won by Doughty and controls it well as it looped back to the ground. Chong pushing the back from Cash. Free kick for Luton, midway side their own half here. What a reaction. Whatever Rob Edwards has said at half-time, it's worked. Because Luton had a strong end to the first half, but this second half has been something at a different level. Clark crosses into the box from the edge of the area. Morris heads it down. Straight down the throat of Martinez. Either side of the goalkeeper, and he's asking a bigger question there, Morris. Well worked down the right flank again between Kabore and Ogbene, who have been nothing short of frightening down that right-hand side, causing Aston Villa constant problems. And the cross from the edge of the box from Clark was headed forward by Morris. But he could only head it straight down the throat of Emi Martinez. Villa go long out to the right. Bailey can't bring it down. Throwing next to the corner flag for Luton on this near side. And if anyone looks like they're going to win this game, it looks like Aston Villa. It looks like Luton Town. And Aston Villa, because of that, are going to make 3 changes here. Unai Emery is not happy at the moment. And he has every right to not be happy. His side have let slip a 2-goal lead. And they've let slip of a good performance because they were so good in the first 40 minutes of the game. And it's all started to turn towards the end of the first half. Cash heads forward from the Alfie Doughty header. Cash down the right channel here for Watkins. Can he get it in the box? No, he can't. Header away. And then played back by Clark into the goalkeeper, Kaminsky. Who goes long down the Luton right, looking for Kabore. Can't quite bring it down. Throwing on halfway for Aston Villa. Asking a lot of him there, Kaminsky. Can't quite bring it down. Issa Kabore, who left his home nation of Burkina Faso in August 2019. Longley to McGinn in the centre circle. Sounds near side here to Cash. Forward to Bailey. Keeps it away from Chong. Goes over the top to Watkins. Header goes away to Doughty on the edge of the box. Martinez to left back Moreno. Longley. Midway inside the Villa half here. So with McGinn. They need to get him back involved in the game. Tries to go forward towards Watkins, but Mengi's beat him to it. Down the line it goes. Ogbene will chase it. It's a heavy pass through into the gloves of Martinez. It seems like we're having a bit more of an equal part of the game, it seems. Luton have been on top, but it's going to be, by the way, it's going to be a quad change for Aston Villa. I think that says everything. It's 4 changes it's going to be as our Martinez clears up to the halfway line. Controlled by Watkins, tackled though by Kabore, who won the ball. Mengi down that line, but Ogbene was coming back from an offside position, so the ball will run through here to Longley. Louise on the edge of the box, being closed down here by Clark, and it's a foul from Luton's number 18. Just a bit too aggressive with the press. And we'll get these Aston Villa changes here. And Aston Villa have done very little going forward, so I think we're going to get a lot of the changes in the attacking line. So we're going to get one at left back, straight swap. Alex Moreno, the Spaniard, out for Luca Digne. And then we're going to get Leon Bailey to be replaced by Moussa Diaby, who was brought in for £52 million in the summer from Leverkusen. So they're the first 2 changes. Moreno and Bailey off for Digne and Diaby. And the next 2 changes, we'll see a subbed off. Morgan Rogers came on quite early in the first half for an injured Jacob Ramsey. And Morgan Rogers will now be replaced by Nicolo Zaniolo. And the 4th and final change, we'll see Yuri Tielemans come off for Tim Irabunum. So 4 changes there. Hope you've kept up. And we're back underway. Doughty on this near side, passing the halfway line. Doughty just slowing the ball down here, looking for a next pass. It's down the line to Chong, inside to Barkley. Turns away from Irabunum. What a turn that is. Barkley away from Louise, but brought down by the Brazilian. And that is going to be a free kick for Luton. Barkley stays down, holding his left leg. But that roulette turn by Barkley to get away from Irabunum was nothing short of mesmerising to see. We know what Barkley can do, and we mentioned in the first half, Barkley, very rightly has been praised as one of the top performers in the league this season. But that first half, he wasn't at it, Ross Barkley, and I'm sure he'd probably agree with that. His passing wasn't quite on it, but this second half, he's just been the player we all know he is and can be. He's been brilliant. Doughty's already got 1 assist, crosses it again, far post, nearly onto Morris's right foot, but it's headed behind for a corner, I think by Konsa. It was nearly a carbon copy there. Morris was ready to swing that right foot again to try and score another volley. But it was a vital header away in the end by Ezri Konsa. So Luton have already got it back to 2-2. Could they turn it the whole way around? Doughty, in-swinger towards the goalkeeper, easy catch again. That's 3 times he's done that now, Doughty. For every good cross he puts in, it's almost like there's 3 that aren't. As Martinez goes long, that's a great ball. Diaby will pick it up in the final third. 1-on-1 with Kabore, enters the box on his left foot, squares it through towards Zaniolo. Dealt with well there by Ogbene, but straight back to Diaby. So Aston Villa can continue an attack, which is rare for this second half. Villa have rarely attacked at all. But they've got it out to the far side to Digne in the final third. Got forward from left back. Goes back to Longley. He's got time on the ball here. Longley. Out to the left here to Digne. Back to Longley. All Luton plays behind the ball. So finally a bit of Aston Villa time to attack, maybe. Bit of time on the ball for them at least. As we've got just less than 9 minutes to play here. Longley strides forward with the ball. into the path of Digne, who can get onto it first time. Cross low to the near post. Dealt with by Burke. Clearing ahead of the substitute, Zaniolo. Now, Longley in a left wing position here. He's going to fancy a cross. He'll put one in. Longley towards Watkins, who was unmarked. Header away to Chong on the edge of the box, who clears it, and then he's caught by Irabunam. And that'll be a free kick on the edge of the box for Luton. That was nearly a perfect cross because Watkins was on his own, and the substitute defender, Daiki Hasioka, almost committed to go to the ball to head it away. But if he'd missed that header, then it looked like it was going to be free for Watkins to score his hat-trick, but it was all defended by the Japanese defender, Daiki Hasioka. As Chonga stayed down after that foul from Tim Irabunam, who'd only making his fifth first-team appearance of the season. It's his 4th time off the bench in the Premier League. Obviously a heavy kick there for Chong, but hopefully he'll be able to continue here, the former Netherlands under-21 international. But we are also commentating tomorrow. If you want to check it out, it is Arsenal against Tottenham Women in the WSL at the Emirates Stadium. That's 12:30 kickoff. Chong back up, but hobbling to the near side. So, not quite sure if he'll be able to continue. Looks like they are going to ready a change here. Chong doesn't want to come off, but he might not have a say in this because they are readying up here. Peli Ruduk Impanzu, who's been at the club since permanently January 2014. He was brought in on loan from West Ham from November 2013 to January 2014, where he's made a permanent signing, and he has gone right through the leagues with Luton Town. Impanzu, all the way through from their National League title to promotion to the Premier League. So Taif Chong's day is done. He scored the first goal for Luton, and he's had to come off now, and he's replaced by Impanzu, who's making appearance number 900. Wow, that's a lot of appearances. 395 appearances now for Impanzu for Luton Town. And he has played in a Luton win against Aston Villa. They met each other in the League Cup in 2016. It was a 3-1 win, and Impanzu played the full 90 minutes. And back in the 2016-2017 season, Luton were in League 2. Doughty crosses again, far post. Morris on his own! Oh, it's wide! It's nearly the exact same goal. Doughty, ball to the far post. Morris latches on with a right-footed volley, side-footed. And this time, instead of finding the bottom corner, he's just put it wide into the advertising boards. He would have been offside. He wouldn't have stood. But it's close. And it's momentum that Luton can build with. As it's now Diaby. Plays it down the line here for Zaniolo, who will keep it in on the byline towards the corner flag. Keeps it away from Clark here. Zaniolo then tackled by Clark. Great midfielder play. He's been unbelievable, Clark, today, I think. Just a workhorse in that midfield. But playing well with Barkley. They seem like they are a nice little dynamic duo, them two, in the centre of midfield. As he's back with Kaminski for Luton, who clears it up the field. It's a little bit sliced. Peels out towards the right-hand side. Last touch comes off Kabore. And it'll be a Aston Villa throw-in midway inside the Luton half on the far side. Throw it back here to Longley. Down the line for Digne. Gets away from the Frenchman. And that'll be a Luton throw-in. It's just not been good enough the second half for Aston Villa, which is so surprising because they were absolutely brilliant in the first half. Throw in towards the halfway line, chested forward by Digne, then played forward to McGinn, who can try and work it towards Diaby, cut out there by Hasioka. And it's now Luton to attack on the near side here with Doughty. Midway inside the Villa half, he's got the run down the line of Clark, but he'll go for a cross himself. It's stood up towards the far post where Digne has to head behind for a corner. Aston Villa have just not been able to contain this Luton team in the second half. And they are paying the price at the moment. It will leave Aston Villa just 3 points ahead of Spurs in 5th place. Aston Villa will remain in 4th. And them two meet next week Live commentary of that on the channel next Sunday when Aston Villa take on Tottenham at Villa Park. Going to get another corner here. Doughty. In it goes, left-footed towards the goalkeeper again. And he's caught it again. No big surprise there. It's almost like with Doughty, those crosses, he puts them near the keeper and just plays the percentage game. He goes, eventually, one of them's going to reach one of my players and not the goalkeeper. As Doughty pulls back Louise there. Free kick for Aston Villa on halfway as they try to attack as quickly as possible. Aston Villa, who could still win the game. Only takes one chance, one mistake, and the back in front. Longley on halfway. Plays it across to the right back here of Matty Cash. High ball forward to Watkins, who can't win the header on Mengi. Does deflect out for an Aston Villa throw-in on this near side, so they can still build forward, Aston Villa. Cash, long throw towards the box. Headed away by a Luton man and then cleared down the left-hand side. Morris will chase it, but he'll be dealt with by Longley, who in his own half will sprint away from Luton's number 9 and plays it to the far side to Digne. Moves the ball away from Ogbene. Konsa. It's now with Cash. Fakes the first pass and then goes across to Irabunum, the Aston Villa substitute. It's now Longley trying to battle away from Ogbene. And his pass is intercepted by Kabore, but the loose ball drops to Louise. Forward quickly to Watkins. Midway side of the Luton half. Just peeling out towards the left-hand side. He goes across to the right to Louise. Then out to Cash, who latches onto the ball. And plays it to Moussa Diaby. Cash continues his run. Diaby goes instead to Watkins on the edge of the box. Back into Diaby. Left-footed. Cross goes in. Far post. Header from Digne! And Aston Villa are back in front. Off the bench. With the goal. Luca Digne offers Aston Villa a lifeline. His goal puts them back in front. They still have a little bit of time to see the result through. But what a moment for Luca Digne. It's his first Premier League goal of the season. And what a time to get it. We're just mentioning how Aston Villa is still in the game despite not performing well. One chance can change it. And one of their first main chances of the game in this second half have resulted in a goal. Do they deserve it? Probably not. But that's what good teams do. They are persistent. They try and get the best result they can until the very end. But what a cross that is. One substitute to another. One Frenchman to another. Diaby crossing with his left foot to the far post. Digne got in front of Kabore in the 6-yard box. Heading it into the ground. Away from Kaminski. And with less than a minute now to play of the 90, it's Luton 2, Aston Villa 3. And despite being the team who have been dominated this second half, they have somehow nicked a winner. That is nothing short of heartbreaking for Luton. They have been unbelievable in this second half. And the minimum result they deserve is a draw. And the fact they could walk away with nothing is just cruel. It seems cruel, but that's football. Miggin on halfway brings it forward towards the left-hand side. Great tackle from Barkley. And it can be a Luton counter-attack. Ogbene on the right-hand side goes to his left to Barkley. It's now with Mpanzu. Keeps the ball away from Zaniolo. Tries to get it through towards Kabore. Cut out by Digne. Irabunum. To a left-back position here to Louise. Back to Longley. In his 18-yard box, he clears it right-footed. 5 minutes added on. We've already played 30 seconds. Chested down by McGinn. Brought down there by Mengi. Nothing given against him. And it's Cash to bring it away as Luton can't get it to Morris. Diaby, the assist maker. Running at Doughty. Into the box for Watkins. Tries to flick it back into Diaby. But he's dealt with by Luton. Hasioka. Lifted ball forward towards Ogbene, who was fouled there by Digne. And it's a yellow card as well. I think for Zaniolo. For something off the ball or something previously. But as we mentioned, this will be Luton's 9th defeat at home in the league. 8 of them, at this rate, have been by 1 goal. It sums up the season. You know, just imagine if just some of those games ended in a draw, or they were able to get in front instead and win the game. You know, they would be nowhere near this relegation zone, where they'll stay for now on 20 points. And they'll be 4 points off Nottingham Forest with a game in hand. But to lose 8 out of 9 home games by 1 goal, that is just... It's negative in the fact that it'll just build so much frustration. It's almost like if you get beat 3 or 4-0, you just accept it, move on. But when you get beat by 1 goal so often, you just think, what if this happened? What if that? What if the result went differently? And you can get in your head a little bit. But Aston Villa have somehow, I don't know how, have got themselves back in front here. Digne from left back making a run into the box like a striker. And it was a brilliant header. And it's a goal that currently gives Aston Villa all 3 points. Digne was just receiving some treatment there because as he fouled Ogbene, I think, they just collided heads a little bit. So he just had to get some treatment there. Luca Digne. It's only his second Aston Villa goal, by the way, in the Premier League. His other one was at home to Manchester United in November 2022. So we are back underway, throwing in the final third here for Luton on this near side. Barkley. Across it goes now into the centre circle to Mengi. To the left to Barkley. Got 2 minutes of the 5 added on here. Impanzu flicks it back to Mengi to keep it away from Watkins. Burke to Impanzu. Back to Burke, who brings it forward away from McGinn. And out to the right here to Kabore. Onto Ogbene. It's over here. And Longley can see it out for a goal kick. Good defending there from Clement Longley. But the pass wasn't good enough from Ogbene. They've been so good as well down that right-hand side. Ogbene and Kabore. They're the reason, really, why Luton have been able to build so much momentum in the second half and get their goals to get back level until a minute left of the 90, where Digne's broken Luton hearts. And for Aston Villa, this puts them 5 clear of Spurs, and they play them next week. So if Aston Villa was to beat Spurs at home, that would put them in an 8-point advantage in the top 4. Watkins flicks on to Zaniolo, who goes down over a challenge, but nothing given. Needs to be cleared quickly by Mengi, and it is. It's a high ball down the Luton right. Morris will chase it. Konsa heads away, but straight to Morris, who holds it up here. Morris to the edge of the box to Barkley, who tries to play it through, and it's cut out by Cash. And it will be volleyed by Konsa behind for a corner. This could be it for Aston Villa in terms of a defensive play where they can see out these 3 points. Luton looking like they could be falling to their 16th defeat of the season in the league. It'll be 6 without win for Luton Town. They haven't picked up a victory since the 30th of January. And you cannot say they haven't tried or they don't deserve something, because they play good football. Doughty, in-swinger, header won by Mengi, and it's over the bar. You just knew from a mile away Mengi was going to win that one. The way he went to attack it was ferocious. But he's skied that one over the crossbar. We will get a couple extra minutes because Digne did receive some treatment in the start of the added-on time. So we might play till about 97. So I say we've just got under 2 minutes left. It's Martinez with the goal kick. This would be a league double for Aston Villa. It'll be their first league double over Luton since the 89-90 season. As Zaniolo can't flick on. Kabore forward to Ogbene. Goes back to the goalkeeper of Kaminski. And Luton need to get this forward as quickly as possible. Need to go a little bit more direct than they are doing with Kaminski. Forward, free header won by Longley. To Louise, who touches away from Zaniolo, but it's dealt with by Digne. Helped him out big time there, Digne, because Louise's touch wasn't great. It's now with McGinn in the Luton half. Coming out towards this near side, played it forward to Diaby, the assist maker for the winner, but he gives it away. Diaby tried to keep it in, but I think thankfully he didn't keep it in, and Luton have to go back to take the throw in. And it's in quickly by Doughty to Barkley, former Aston Villa man. He kicks out of play, surrounded by 3 Villa shirts, and it's a throw in on halfway for the away side, who are looking to win their 7th away game of the season in the league. It'll be 3 in a row for Aston Villa. As that away end is bouncing at the moment. It's a 7-hour round trip on the roads for Aston Villa. But it'll be worth every second if they can hold this one through. Cass throws it long down the line. McGinn keeps it away from Doughty for the moment, but then kicks it away. And the whistle goes. Unai Emery with a huge celebration, fist bumping the ground in absolute delight. As it did not look like Aston Villa were going to win that game. If anything, it looked like they were going to be the team to be beaten in that second half. Luton were outstanding in their comeback. And late on, Luca Digne, with a minute of the 90 to play, got on the end of a Moussa Diaby cross to the far post. He got in front of Kabore, headed it into the ground and beyond goalkeeper Kaminski to give Aston Villa a late lead. And that late lead was seen through for 3 points. And in the first half, where Aston Villa were the better team, and in the second half, where Luton were the better team, somehow, some way, Aston Villa have got their noses over the line and have nicked a late one here at Kenilworth Road. It's added frustration for Luton, who just keep losing these home games by the skin of their teeth. But if they keep losing them in this fashion, then they'll be back in the Championship next season. How annoying for Luton. They were so good in that second half. They deserved at least a draw as the bare minimum. But just that extra little bit of quality between Diaby and Digne worked for the goal. And again, Luton are just going to have to go again. They've got Palace away next week. Then they've got Bournemouth away in the week after. And then the weekend after that, they've got Forest at home. So 3 winnable fixtures, you'd say. They'd fancy it. Palace will be difficult because they've got that new manager, Glasner. But then Bournemouth away, Forest at home. You know, their team's in the bottom half. So definitely fancy it, Luton. There's points to be picked up. But how they've not picked up anything tonight is beyond me. I'm not too sure. Well done, mate. Thank you. Greetings from Tampa, Florida. Wow. Very interesting. Florida checking out the stream. That's fantastic to see. But that will be the end of tonight's live commentary. Make sure you like and subscribe if you haven't already. We are commentating again tomorrow. 12:30 kickoff. Arsenal taking on Spurs, the women in the WSL. So from 12:30. So make sure you're there for that tomorrow lunchtime. But here from Kenilworth Road, it's Aston Villa, who took a 2-0 lead at half-time. It was a brace from Ollie Watkins. But Luton, who ended the first half well, started the second half even better. They were so direct, they were so forward, they were so much more clinical in their attacks. And Luton were able to get the first goal back through Chong in the 66th minute, scrambling the ball over the line from a little bit of a defensive mess from Aston Villa. And then they got their equaliser just 6 minutes later through Carlton Morris. Doughty back at it again with the assist, crossing it to the far post. And a right-footed volley to the bottom left corner by Morris gave Luton a very deserved equaliser. And it looked like if anyone was going to win it, it was going to be Luton. They were the team in the ascendancy and a team with the momentum. But somehow, with their lack of attacks in the second half, they nicked one late Aston Villa. Luca Digne in the 89th minute, who scores his first Premier League goal since November 2022. Off the bench, came in clutch for Unai Emery, whose side come here to Kenilworth Road and pick up 3 points. They go 5 above Spurs in 4th position. And here at Kenilworth Road, it finishes Luton 2, Aston Villa 3.